Good everyone, and welcome to today's review, and today we have a review on the SU-57 Halftrack. Now I decided to get this vehicle done first before the P40E. I haven't actually flown the P40E since that first video. I think I took it out once afterwards with the SU-57. Did get to use a 500 kilo bomb. Very nice, is all I'll say. And well, I actually had a lot of fun with this thing. It's a very nice vehicle. It's very relaxing, and I just really enjoyed sitting back, sniping. Yeah, you had those planes who come back for revenge kills, but yeah, it's just one of those things. So the SU-57 obviously is a half track armed with a 57mm M1 cannon. It's It's actually, in my opinion, better than the 75 GMC in most scenarios. However, if you do need, shall we say, a bigger punch, the 75mm GMC is probably going to be your vehicle. But obviously, that's a US vehicle. This is a Russian vehicle, and I fought a lot of 75mm M3s, and I killed a lot of them. I don't think I died once to one. So obviously you can see on the back, well, on the side, I've got some very questionable decals. You can thank Dave Schilling for that. I got inspiration. Obviously, those of you who have any sort of sense, you can sort of work out what it is. So obviously, the armor itself, I've covered. It's pathetic. The armor is not going to save you once. Everything will penetrate you. So don't rely on this vehicle for armor, because you're wasting your time. Every single thing will go right through it. Even light machine gun fire from the sides will go right through this thing. Artillery is obviously, as you saw in the first drive, if you've seen that, very susceptible to artillery. Um, but for the most part, I found myself being very relaxed with this vehicle. It was something that I could really just jump in after a bad day, grinding either an event such as Operation Heat, which obviously you can see the BT7 right there. Um, and yeah, it's just that sort of vehicle that I can just jump in and have a fun time in. So let's go over my stats of the vehicle and let's see what I got up to in terms of, well, stats. 16 deaths, 137 ground units, which makes it that's just under a 9 to 1 by about 7 kills. So kill death wise, pretty average for a vehicle like this. In fact, no, not a vehicle like this. Most people could barely get a 1 to 1. Stat-wise, that's actually pretty impressive. But at the same time, most of my deaths were from planes. Yeah, planes are going to be your worst nightmare in this thing. Artillery as well had a couple of deaths from those. Obviously, the first battle you saw, I had a death in that. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun in this thing. I didn't get to shoot down a plane, which was disappointing. Nearly did on a pea shooter who came back to try and revenge bomb me, but completely failed. But I really enjoyed this thing. And if anything half-track related pops up in the Russian tree again, I will certainly be picking it up. That is for certain. So let's jump right into the replay and let's see how I did. Now, I'm going to point this out for James because obviously this is Kuban. Sorry, mate, this vehicle cannot get up into the broken spot. I have tried it. It simply can't do it. It doesn't have the power. So just bear that in mind if you do buy this thing. You cannot get into the broken spot, which overlooks C, A, and B. Obviously, we all know it is just up here to the south, and there's all up on that cliff. Sadly, she can't make it. She doesn't have the power. So, at this time, obviously, I only had 2 decals on the vehicle, which, that's free camera. You can just see there, it's just a bear with the snake, which is obviously representing something naughty. But I really did enjoy this vehicle. It was so relaxing to just play something so fun. And not only that, I had a blast because I had some proper moronic teammates. One of which I was going to save for a video, but I thought, nah, he's not worth it. So, obviously, I've pulled up to one of mine and Dave's favourite spots. It's a nice little spot that overlooks this area over here, just towards the B point. It does overlook the B point slightly, but this is more suited for a tank. But for a half track, it can work. And we're going to be sitting here for quite a bit, unfortunately. Not much action happens in the first few minutes of the replay, but obviously, as you saw, we got here perfectly quickly. We kept up with that M5 Stuart perfectly fine. And, well, that M5 Stuart has gone on to capture the B point. There is going to be a lot of sitting around, waiting, but I enjoyed it. It gave me a chance to put the music on and just relax, which is why I like this thing, because it's so chilled out, this vehicle is. Unfortunately, I was nailed by a cheater in this thing. It seems to be a running gag with my premium vehicles. And unfortunately, well, I did save the replay, but the digital time traveler's got it, and I didn't want to cover it. Hopefully by the time this review comes out, he will be banned. I'll be keeping tabs on that. But even so. So for the moment, we're just sitting here waiting, but here comes our first customer. One shot, one kill. Question about shells in case, well, not question. Answering about the shells on this thing. The APCBC round was the primary round I used. I only fired the standard AP, which you can see right here, about twice, and I killed a tank with it. You're going to want to use the M86 round. It's got a bit less pen, by about 14mm, roughly. But, for the most part, I preferred this round. Obviously, you saw that it one-shot that Panzer. Had we used the standard armor piercing, we'd have just killed the turret crew and not the tank. Comes with about 40 grams of explosive. It's pretty useful. It's got good velocity, because obviously it's a high velocity 57. It's very similar to the British 6-pounder, if you've ever used a 6-pounder. But for the most part, we're just going to be sitting here, and, well, that's why I'm bumping it up to 4 times speed. But this is the sort of thing I like to do. It's just so relaxing of a vehicle. I could just take it out, relax, but eventually I just decide, well, this spot's getting a bit boring. Let's move on to another spot of mine that I sometimes like to use. I don't tend to use it in the SU-57, or any vehicle for that matter. And it's right here. It does overlook the A point quite nicely, but you do have to remove some trees to do it. And to be honest, this battle really didn't feel like 20 minutes long. I'll be brutally honest. So, at the moment, we've obviously got a Chica up providing air support. We've also got a Pea shooter. But we've also got a couple of tanks in the A point. Well, there's one less now. That's my second kill. One other note, the reverse speed is actually pretty poor for a half-track. I was expecting better. It's only about 6 miles an hour, which seems fast, but in some situations you're gonna want faster speed going backwards, and, well, artillery is probably one of those. It'll do the job, but it isn't the fastest for a half-track. I would expect about 10 miles an hour for a half-track. But sadly, this isn't the case. Let's go put the chat on, because nothing really happens in the chat. It's just typical Allied team, really, because, well, it's going to be very slow for the moment, this battle is, but we'll soon get into our stride. So I'm going to put it up to 4 times speed again. Obviously, B's being captured. One other note, the gun depression's crap. It's only about 5 degrees, which is pretty poor. I'd love it if we could put the front windshield down. Because let's be real, I'm not surviving any shots in this thing. And then you can see a couple of tanks. Obviously, I've seen a Stug 3A being marked, and I thought, could I maybe get a cheeky shot in? I can't. He's actually behind that hill, and you can't shoot through that hill. But I would love it if we could put down the front windshield and well, the armored windshield, and have better gun depression, because this thing really needs it. It's pretty poor to gun depression in typical Russian fashion. So there you can see that M1441 has just died. The Stug's still over there. Obviously, I can't see him through that hill, that tree, and well, obviously the hill. But you can see I'm having to constantly readjust the vehicle. It's because I'm trying to get a shot into that vehicle. Obviously, I can see the Stug now. You can see I have just enough gun depression here. But the gun's so high velocity, I'm leading too much. I don't know how that shot ricocheted, but the Thatcher's Buffalo, Osman G, he is actually a really good pilot. I think he killed like 9 tanks in that Buffalo. He did really well. He really supported the team. And well, fair play to him, is all I'll say. I think he was down here spading something from... We had a brief conversation after the match. He was spading something, I don't remember what, and I think he was doing a market distinction on the Thatcher's Buffalo. But he did amazing for cast support. But if he did it gun cast style, but against the Germans you can really do that, because obviously their vehicles are lightly armoured above, on the roof, and yeah, it's just simple as that. So at this point I start moving to another favourite spot of mine. I haven't actually named any of these spots, but I think Dave's already copyrighted the first one we saw. The other one you could probably just call it like Joe's Dip or something like that. I don't know, think of something. This spot up here, many players like to use it, but I'm going to christen it Joseph's Watchtower because there's some watchtowers up there. Or shall we say, Watch Point would probably be better. So I knew there was a vehicle up here, however I didn't know what it was. Soon discover it to be a armoured car, an AB-43. I thought I could drive up this. Nope, I can't. I have to go the other way. I have to do it the slower way. Now I could go driving forward and then turning it left, but I didn't want to take the risk in case he knew I was there. And here you can see the reverse speed. You can see what I mean. Like 6 miles an hour is good, but it could be better. So I'm just driving up, and obviously this armoured car has not seen me. I don't know how, but he just hasn't. So I decide, turret crew first. He starts backing up, but he crashes. He starts trying to drive away the poor sod, but it's too late. 3rd kill. At this point, I just park it right here, and I'm thinking, well, gotta wait for him to despawn. Because there's nothing I can do. I can't exactly move him out of the way. And he can't even despawns for me. Actually, I'm having to give him a bit of welly to get it up here. The engine's about 140 horsepower, I think. It's not the most powerful, but it gets it along reasonably okay. But that's my 3rd kill of the game. Obviously, you saw the reverse speed in action there. I'm already not a fan of the reverse speed, and well done, I've just knocked down one of my watchtowers. Could have probably sent one of the Ivan's up there to have a look around, because from what I could find about this vehicle, it was actually only a 4-crew vehicle. Driver, gunner, loader, commander. However, there's 5 people sat this tank, or half-track. There's the driver, the commander, 2 loaders, from what I think it is, and obviously the Commander. I just find that, well, no, I said Commander twice, didn't I? I'm fairly certain, well, maybe the guy on the right-hand seat is a machine gunner or something, but there's nothing to machine gun because this thing doesn't have a machine gun. But from what I've been able to find on the internet, this thing is only a four, well, meant to be a four-crew vehicle, so it is a bit more survivable than what it should be. Having that five crew though is actually really beneficial. I once took a shot from a Chiha right to the turret front, which it went straight through, killed those two, but I was still able to fight with a loader, gunner, and driver, so. And you can see the gun working gloriously well. I love this gun for sniping. Fourth kill on a Panzer IV-C. It really does pack a power, or pack a punch, this gun. Even though the APCBC didn't detonate, it still did a load of damage to that Panzer IV. It'd have took a few shots, but it'd have took a few shots for the standard AP, so. But my personal suggestion would be to fire nothing but APCBC, because the explosive filler really helps out. The standard AP is good, but I just think it's more beneficial for players, especially if they're new and they've bought this vehicle. Fire the APCBC. That is my preference. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun, like I said. This vehicle's very relaxing, it's very easy to drive. It's just takes a bit of getting used to because it's a half track, it's not a tank. Gotta drive a bit more carefully. But like I said, if you do manage to, well, if you do pick up this thing, don't play it like a tank. I have seen people play this thing like a tank and they get immediately eviscerated by such as, well, Flak Panzers, Panzer IIs, Gepards, obviously Flak Panzers 38s, but I still refer to it as the Gepard. And yeah, don't be that guy who tries to drive this thing like a tank. It will not end well. Trust me. So at this moment, I'm just saying to the team, let them have B, just hold A and C, which makes sense. Obviously, we have A and C under control. Obviously, I'm overwatching C. They aren't actually going to go for C for quite a bit, if I remember rightly. But it's A they're going to target next, obviously. There's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team, and there's 1 plane. There's 1 guy on my team in a T-28 who just goes no with a radio command. He's going to die again, I believe, because he goes to the B point. And yeah. Osman G is obviously going to state this fact in the chat, and obviously now A is under threat, and obviously I don't have a shot from here. But I spot that Semavente, which was the guy in the armoured car earlier on. I am on a slight ridge, so I am having to back up to get the gun aligned. I didn't actually know what was happening over there. It turns out a Chiha Kai has actually gone on his roof. So I decided, well, if that Semavente manages to get that thing on its roof again, it's quite a dangerous vehicle. Obviously, I'm aiming purely with binos here. Obviously, I am aiming with the gun sight still. But, there you go, there's that little shit dealt with. 6th kill. There you can see Goon Bandits trying to snipe with an SU-57. The SU-57 will win every single time. And that's my 7th and final kill for the game. My team moves up onto the B point, they cap it, and well, that's the end of it. I don't know why there's a replay bug with the tyres, but hey, I don't make replays. So what do I think of this thing? Well, like I said, really had fun with it. It's a very relaxing vehicle. And if you've got a spare 550 GE, we've got a choice between the T126 and the SU-57. Personally, for a new player, I would recommend the T126, but if you're a more experienced player, I think the SU-57 is going to serve you a lot better. Simply due to the fact that the SU-57 can snipe better than the T126. It doesn't have any armor, but No armor's best armor. But anyway, I'll let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the SU-57, and I will see you all on the next one.